So thanks a lot for joining in. It's already 8 minutes past 2 p.m. and we were supposed to start for 2. Apologies for starting behind schedule. We do have, I'm not going to be the only one handling this session. We do have some other panelists, but then we're going to build up to, what the session would end up as, really. So we're asking, what do record labels really want? It's a big question that a lot of artists have always wondered about. I don't think I've ever met any artist who did not want to be signed by a record label. Everybody wants a record deal. Even your fave wants a record deal. I mean, somebody wants responsibilities taken off them. So somebody wants, the good old have a house, have a car, somebody sponsoring your music. You don't bother about recording sessions, how much they cost, and all of that. Everybody wants that dream life. But is it possible for everyone? We'll find out. My name is Ife Ajagbe, and I'm the head of operations for Symphonic in West Africa. The reason for this course is so that you actually have some direction. So for the purpose of this course, we are not concerned about the creative process. We're concerned about music as a business. So this is not a session that is talking about how you produce your music. We assume that you have passed that level and you're set to take music as a serious business. So if you are, welcome to the Masterclass. Now, music is a business, like I said, and at the end of the session, you will know if you really should be making music. I mean, we know music is not for everyone. So there are some of you in this class that some people have told to stop making music, but you have listened to some motivational speakers and you will not stop. It might be a good idea, it might not be. At the end of this course, you would know. Then you will have clarity on how to be commercially viable. Very important. The monetary side. How do you sell the products that you're making? Whether you like it or not, you're some sort of entrepreneur. Now, you would know if you're ever going to get signed. Would it ever happen to you? I know it might be your dream. Oh, I want to be on Maven. I want to be on Premier Records. I want to be on any of the biggest record labels. But would you ever get signed? It's a good question, and you'd find the answer at the end of this course. Now, you would know how to survive even if you don't get signed. So what are the things that you could use to sustain yourself as an independent artist? That is an important question, and we'll provide the answer for you. Now, you would also understand the business of music. Very important. Understanding the business of music is where a lot of artists are missing out, and is one of the purposes of this course. So let's start with, the basic. Music business actually does start with distribution. So if you are an artist and for some weird reason, you're still actually handing your music to blogs to help you with uploading, and then you still pay those blogs, and you don't bother distributing your music, there's a challenge. You're not ready for the business of it. You're just doing it for the fun of it, which is, fair. Like, no one is fighting you on that. But if you're ready for business, you would actually start off by distributing your music. And in case you're wondering, why is this so important? You guys just want to make money. Well, maybe, but we want you to make money too. So if you choose to start with uploading the song for free on music blogs, your song can be stolen. So think about it this way. You're really popular in your region. People know you. They love your music. They sing, your music is all over the place. And you haven't distributed your music. It means that if you've uploaded it for free on blogs because you want as many people as possible to be able to consume it, what then ends up happening is that somebody that is a smart thief can easily go ahead and pick up your music and distribute to streaming sites. Now, because you're not bothered about it, nobody else has ever come to distribute that same song. We don't know that you own it. I mean, technically, we don't. So that person sits pretty and earns money from your music while you are doing all of the hard work, promoting it, keep making songs, and then you're not actually making sure that money comes back to you. Now, if you choose to kick off promotion immediately, it will also be an almost colossal waste. So you have made music, you have not distributed it, you started promoting, and then you didn't even choose, the very affordable promotion. You decided that you wanted to put it on radio, you wanted to put it on TV, you wanted to, shoot a video, you wanted to put it on YouTube, you wanted to start promoting. You've done all of the promotion, but you haven't actually distributed your music. It means that there is no way that you're able to account for how your money is coming back to you. So that's why digital music distribution is important. Now, Symphonic is definitely a bright choice. I mean, we do have a number of services, and I'll just run through those because that's not really the emphasis of the course, but just for you to know that you have options. So we get your music to over 200 plus streaming sites in the world, which is a lot. And we also have a tool called SplitShare. So what it means is that if you, for instance, collaborate with a producer, if you collaborate with maybe, a friend of yours that also featured on the song, you can decide that you want to split revenue on the song with all of these people that you collaborated with. And SplitShare is so fantastic that if you decide that maybe you have like 10 baby mamas and you want them to be able to earn revenue from this particular song because you think it's going to be big, you can also share with them. So it's an easy tool to use, and it's available for you really. Then there is the customer care. Our customer care representatives are human beings. And of course, if you're using our support, we advise that you send an email on a weekday. But also, I know that a lot of you know that you can just get a hold of me, maybe on Instagram, or give me a call or something like that, because you know that I work with Symphonic, and you know that we will get things done for you ASAP. And then there's also the tool called Transfer Track. So basically, you have started using Symphonic to distribute your music to, like over 200 plus streaming sites, including Spotify and all. And you then decide, you know what? I used to be with a previous distro and I do have my songs there. Why don't I have my songs, all of them, in one place? We thought about that. So this is an AI-powered tool that will let you be able to actually move your music from your previous distro to Symphonic very easily. So all you need to do is provide the UPC of the song, which lets us know that you own the song, or you have some rights over the song. Or you could just give us a Spotify release link of the song. Either one works, and then you'll be able to transfer all of the metadata of that song to us. So metadata would include your artwork, the title of the song, the name of the artist, the composer, the songwriter. All of that information will be transferred automatically. All you need to do is just upload the audio file manually. So, and this is, cutting-edge technology. It's nowhere else. Now, let's talk about this. I will just touch on it, but we do have somebody that is going to talk extensively about this, and I encourage you to listen. Yeah, he's from Spotify, and he can tell you how editorial playlisting actually works. From our end, we do pitch to the editorial playlist curators of, streaming sites on behalf of our clients that are on the partner plan. So we have two kinds of plans. There's a starter plan and there's the partner plan. So for people on the partner plan, we do pitch to editorial playlist curators on your behalf. But then you're going to hear from an editorial playlist curator so that you understand how it really works. Then there's the starter plan. So for the starter plan, it's designed for independent artists, and basically it's just artists that feel like you've never distributed music before in your entire life. The starter plan is for you. Or you're just starting and you really just want 100% of your revenue. The starter plan is for you. So all you need to do is just pay $19.99 per year, and you can distribute as many songs as you want in that period, and we'll still distribute it to 200 plus streaming sites. When you make your money, we'll hand your money back to you. And that's it. And if you're actually in this masterclass right now, you have an opportunity. You can use the discount code SIM25 to get 25% discount on the starter plan. So you can just go ahead and register. Now, the thing about Symphonic, or why it's an important choice, is the fact that we actually do care about you. And I think it trickles down from the top to the bottom. So Jorge Brea is the CEO of Symphonic, and he started off his career in the music industry as a DJ. So if a DJ opens a company, a digital music distribution company, it's not just because he wants to make money. It's because he actually does care about the music and how an independent artist or even a signed artist could actually get the best out of distribution. So for all of us, there's always that one person. I mean, Laura is an amazing person. She's probably done some level of artist management, A&R. So everybody does have a true interest in music. So that's why if you come to us, we, would definitely do whatever it is that we can to make sure that things are easy for you. And then if you feel like you need a lot of information, or a lot of people come to me and say, I don't know what to do in this music business, I mean, you should just visit symphonic.com and check our blog section. It will have you set up for life because there's enough information there, all to the point of if you actually want to put in your song for the Grammys, it's there. You just go there and get all of the information you need. It's more like a, music industry startup app, basically, if you go to symphonic.com. Now, for us, it's important that you succeed. Yeah, our faith, and this is the way it is. We say that number one, you should give us enough time to pitch your music to editorial playlist curators. And I'm so glad that the person I invited from Spotify actually cares for Christian and gospel music artists. But of course, it has ample knowledge to actually serve everyone, all artists that bother to listen. Now, let me tell you why that is important. Because in my experience so far, it is Christian and gospel artists that will tell you that, the Spirit is leading them to drop the song right now. And I say, can you please help us talk to the Spirit? That it should give us maybe 4 weeks so that we can actually pitch your music appropriately to as many streaming sites as possible, and we can help you handle the business side of the music. So you need to give ample time. And then for pop artists, what I hear a lot is, oh, it's my birthday, so I want to release my song in the next 3 days. And I'm like, why would you just do that? It will be important that you actually go ahead and just give us time. Give us 6 months if you can. I know that's like asking for a lot, but give us that time and you would actually be happy you did. Now, fill your marketing drivers with as much information as possible. Then we say collaborate with your community in promoting your song. Yes, use people around you. If it is in your church, in some particular community where you are, maybe, you're in some association, or even if it's your street association, if you can get them to actually help in promoting your music, you can incentivize them. I mean, invite them to lunch if you have to. And then use TikTok to increase streams and visibility. TikTok is I can't say it's underrated. I mean, people use it properly, but it's important. As an artist, if you have not started using TikTok to promote your music, you're really sleeping on gold. Yeah, right now. So basically, you can contact Symphonic. If you're an existing client already, you can send us an email at support@samedistro.com. And of course, you can check us out on Symphonic Africa. Send a DM, would respond quite quickly. And you can check the website, symphonic.com. So we would go to royalties because I said, this course is talking about business. Now, Jessica Carlisle is the director of royalties at Symphonic, and she'll be letting you know how you can monitor your revenue from different streaming sites. A lot of people ask me, oh, this particular streaming site hasn't paid me. Why am I not seeing my money from that streaming site? Some probably have different timings, so she will let us know how that works. She will also let you know, a whole lot of other things. So hi, Jessica.
Hi there. Thank you, Ife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here today to help and talk a little bit about royalties at Symphonic. So I don't have any slides here for today, so I'm just going to talk a little bit. Um, so first off, Symphonic gathers royalties from over 200 um, DSPs, service providers around the world, which is really exciting. We um, we gather those royalties every month so that we can provide payments to you in a timely manner. So every month you will receive royalties into your Symphonic account. Um, the royalties that we receive, most of the major providers like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and YouTube, they report and pay monthly. But we do have some DSPs who are kind of further behind, or they have different reporting schedules. Like, for example, some of the smaller partners only report royalties to us quarterly. So we do have some knowledge base articles that explain the reporting schedule, as well as report notices that list all of the statements that are posted each month in your account, as well as statements that are delayed for partners that we're waiting on. Um, and that knowledge base is a really great resource that I would encourage you to look at if you haven't already. It can be accessed from symphonic.com, as well as within your Symphonic account. There is like a little question mark at the top there that you can click on, and it will take you to our help desk where you can submit questions to our team, as well as review the articles that we have in the knowledge base. For the major providers, it usually takes about 45 days from the time that the month ends until we receive the statement or payment. So, for example, if your streams happened during the first day of August through the last day of August, then we won't actually receive that royalty statement and payment until um, almost 2 months after that, about 30 to 45 days. Uh, so the royalties that we post in your account are always a couple of months behind. Um, right now, we're working on finishing up the processing of royalties that happened during August. So those would be posted on November 4th. We always try to post close to the first of the month. Um, that does change a little bit if the first of the month happens to fall on a weekend or a holiday, then it would be the following Monday. Um, so that is the general overview about royalties. Um, if you are a Symphonic client already, you probably know that your account has a really nice view where you can see all of your royalty detail, as well as your account balance summary. It has some really good views in there and reports that you can see. Like, for example, if you want to look at your earnings in a summary by release or by track or even by territory, it will have all of that information in the dashboard. I know Ife had touched on split share, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Split share is a really amazing feature that we love. It is a way to automatically transfer splits to your artists and other collaborators within the system, rather than you having to, you know, pay all of those people directly, which can be difficult to manage because you have to keep track of all of their payment information and, um, you know, calculate the splits that are due to them, and that can be a lot of time. So we've implemented this feature where you just need to tell the system what percentages to pay your artists for each song, and then the system will automatically transfer those royalties to your payees. That also happens in the same reporting schedule. So, for example, the August royalties, whenever we post them at the beginning of November, they will first hit your account, and then immediately those will transfer from your account to your payee accounts. Your payees do have accounts for free in Symphonic. This is a question that we get fairly often. If it's a payee and they don't have a direct relationship with Symphonic, they do not have to pay for an account. It's a free account that the system will create automatically whenever they accept their invitation to receive the splits. In their account, they can see a lot of the same information that you can see, which is not only their royalty earnings detail for their portion of the splits, but also analytics. So they'll be able to see all of the analytics for streaming and also UGC like YouTube and TikTok, all in their own private account. They can also submit their own payment information into their account, which is all done securely through our payment vendor. And then they can claim their own payments whenever they're ready to do so as well. They also can see some other reports like, let me think. You can, if you want, you can turn on a feature that will allow them to also see the percentages that they're receiving for each track. And then along with split share, we have a feature called recoupment, which also can be really helpful if you need to recoup any expenses from your artists. Once you have split share set up, then you can also add recoupments for specific things. Like, for example, maybe you advanced some money to an artist so that they could produce a music video for their content, and you want that artist to recoup that expense with the royalties that they receive. You would be able to do that as well, all within the system, instead of having to keep track of that outside of the system. I think that is a good overview. If there is time for Q&A after everyone is done speaking, then I'm happy to answer more specific questions. I guess the only last thing I would want to say is that we love supporting artists and labels. We do have real people that are working on your royalties monthly, and we're very passionate about making sure that everyone is getting paid correctly. So if you ever have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us on the help desk, and we will help you as much as we can and as quickly as we can. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jessica. Yes, so if you do have any questions, whether you are an existing client of Symphonic or not, please drop the questions in the Q&A section. All right, so now we'll go to the Almighty playlist. So James Propa is the Christian and Gospel Artist and Partnerships Manager, Spotify Africa, is an editorial playlist curator with ample experience in broadcasting. So everybody here truly cares about music. Hi, James.
Hi, Ife.
How are you doing
How are
today?
you?
Fine.
Doing amazing. How are you doing?
Fine. What time is it in Uganda right now?
It's 4:30 p.m.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you have the floor.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this call today. Yeah, so I'm going to do a summary. I'm going to go through a summary of our Spotify for Artists Masterclass presentation. I tried to cut out a few things that I felt were not relevant for this call. So because of time, I'm going to try to rush through them, but yeah, in case you need to get to understand these things more, you can go to the Spotify for Artists to the Spotify for Artists YouTube channel, and there are a lot of resources there that can be very, very, very helpful. My name is James Propa. I'm the ALP, or Artist and Partnerships Manager for Christian and Gospel at Spotify Africa. I've been in this role for about 1.5 years. Before that, I was working with Tidal Music Streaming as an editor for Uganda and a little bit of Nigeria. At that time, I didn't know much about Nigeria, especially when you do a deep dive. I only knew a few things on the top, especially for the songs that cross to my side of the world. I'm Ugandan, based in Uganda, but I work across the continent. A lot in South Africa and Nigeria. Yeah, so today we're going to go through Spotify for Masterclass deck. If we had to go through the entire thing, it would take close to 1 hour, but I'm going to just try to rush through a few slides that I kept that I feel that are relevant for this conversation. Yeah, so our mission at Spotify is to unlock the potential of human creativity by giving 1 million creative artists the opportunity to live off their art, and billions of fans the opportunity to enjoy that art and be inspired by it. Wherever you see green on this map is where Spotify is available. So it's largely available in most countries. The only countries where we're not, it's because of either sanctions or there is war or something like that. But for the majority of Africa, we're there. I think on this map, Ethiopia still shows that we're not there, but we've launched in Ethiopia. So yeah, just a few markets that are remaining, and it's either because there is war or instability or something like that, or for cases like Russia where it's the sanctions. Yeah, so for people who are probably not very familiar with the Spotify app, the Spotify app is a music streaming app, but not just music. We now also have audiobooks, we have podcasts, we have videos. Yeah, so artists make a lot of money, discovery, and all that through Spotify. And there are certain things that you're supposed to do for your music to be seen and heard by as many people as possible. And this is what we're going to be talking about. We have two versions of the app. There is the free version that includes adverts and certain things like how many songs you can skip in an hour, and things like that. And yeah, Africans still love the free version, but we're also working hard to get them to the premium version, whereby people pay a certain amount depending on the market where you're based. And yeah, when this money comes, some of it gets to the artists, and that is how artists get paid. So you'll also see a difference between if, for example, majority of the people that are streaming your music are from emerging markets where people are using a lot of the free version. You'll see that there'll be a bit of difference between how much you'd earn and how much an artist that is getting streamed from mature markets earns. Yeah, so let's talk about the Spotify for Artists app. This is an app that you can access both on via the URL artist.spotify.com, or you can also download the app from your app store. And this is a very, very, very strong tool that we use to, first of all, get to know your music that is coming, get to understand it a bit more, but also you as an artist to have the insights, get to understand what your audience looks like, get to understand how your music is performing. Tools in there that can help you add social links to your profile, to your Spotify profile, and then also you can use to actually share about milestones and new releases to your fans on social networks. We're going to dive into that in a little while. Yeah, to get your music on Spotify. Sorry, I kept this picture. Get your slide. So with Symphonic, they'll deliver your song to all the streaming platforms, and Spotify is one of them. Yeah, so after you've delivered your first track, then you can request to access to your Spotify for Artists dashboard by going to artist.spotify.com. You can access your profile, and then that profile can be verified. It takes a few days before, for the verification to happen. And then in there, you can also add your team, because I believe that for artists, they're supposed to be creators. They're not supposed to, worry about many of these things. You're supposed to have a team that is supposed to help you analyze the statistics, to help you pitch your music, because as an artist, I believe that your main role should be creating music. But I know that for many artists, they don't have that privilege, so they have to do most of the things themselves. But it's also quite nice that you have at least one other person that you can add onto your Spotify for Artists profile as either a manager or different roles in there. This will help you in case, for example, you're not available or something happens and you need someone to do something for you, then they can easily access it without you sharing your passwords. Spotify for Artists helps you connect with your fans through the customization of your profile. People get to understand you a bit more. I also believe that Spotify is a platform that encourages discovery of new artists. But for example, imagine if someone from Puerto Rico just came across your song and they came across it on Spotify. They were listening to some Afro playlist and they found your song, they love it, but they want to learn more about you as an artist. The first thing they'll do is they'll click on your name in the app. And then when they go to your profile, then they can read a bit more about it. And they can also follow you on the platform. Yeah, so this is exactly what I was talking about. You need to always have your profile updated. You can add events, you can add mash on there, and then people can also see how your music is performing, which is quite good for people that successfully growing, and also quite encouraging for artists that feel a bit stagnant, so that they need to work a little bit harder. There is something we've introduced now. It's called Countdown Pages. I believe it's now open to everyone. For the last 1 year, it's been to a section of chosen artists. At Spotify, we rate artists by the tier they are, and this depends on which country they're coming from. It depends on the genre. So Countdown Pages for the last 1 year or so have been to mainly tier 1 to tier 3 artists. So for the younger artists, they were not able to see them, but I believe that some of them can now see them. So in case you have an album that is dropping, you've submitted it to Symphonic, they've scheduled it, say, for December 1st or December, whichever day it is. And by the way, guys, I encourage you to always release your music on Fridays, because that is when all our playlists get changed. We'll get into that. But yeah, so once you submit your album to Symphonic, schedule it for a date in the future, you can go into your Spotify for Artists and then set up a countdown page. In the countdown page, you can know how many people have been able to pre-save your album, but they'll also be able to see how many days are remaining, and then they'll be notified when the album comes out. For those of you that are not aware, anything that is more than 2 songs counts to be an album, though sometimes when it's less than, 5, 6 songs, we call it an EP, but yeah, we term it all with one term as an album. Please make use of this tool. It's very nice, it's engaging, and seen a bit of success with it, especially with the Christian and gospel genre. But we've also seen a lot of success with mainstream artists that have used the tool. Then the follow button. When you go to your profile on Spotify, there is a follow button. So when people click the follow button, it's not just for show that you have 10 million followers, but also these people that have followed you, they'll be able to see your upcoming songs, or when your songs drop, they'll be added to their release radar, which is a playlist that is personalized and refreshed every Friday. But then they'll also be able to see it in the What's New feed. So that's the purpose of the follow. So as you engage your audiences, please encourage them to press the follow button on Spotify. And then this is mainly for record labels and groups. You can see in your roster, you are able to add all the artists that you're working with, and able to, just play around with them and just be able to see in like a snapshot of what their music is looking like, or what their content is, how their content is performing over the different periods of time, including 28 days. It could be up to 1 year. It could be since 2015. Then one of the most important parts of this conversation is pitching your music. So when you have a song that is coming, let's say it's coming on the first Friday of November. So when you upload your song to Symphonic and schedule it for the first Friday of November, just give it a few days, like 2 days, so that our team can capture it and put it on the system. And then when you go into your Spotify for Artists, you should be able to see, in the tab, there is a tab called Upcoming. You should be able to see your upcoming projects, and then you should be able to pitch those upcoming projects. It is very important that as you pitch your song, you tag the correct genres. For example, if it's Afrobeats, please be sure to choose Afrobeats. If it is Christian and gospel, please be sure to choose Christian and gospel as your primary genres, because we have editors that work on different genres, that work on different moods and feelings, and they rely on these, what do I call them? They rely on these filters to be able to see your music. Just to give you guys an example, for example, in Africa, we probably get close to 2,000 new releases every week, sorry. So out of the 2,000 releases, honestly, Spotify Africa is still very small and young. So we do not have editors that are going to, there's literally no one that is going to listen through 2,000 songs to find that specific Christian song, or to find that specific Amapiano song. But what happens is when you add the correct genres to your music, then you start to shrink the sample space, and then our editors are able to find that music. I hope you guys understand what I mean. Like, out of 2,000 songs, probably 100 are Christian and gospel, probably some 300 songs are Afrobeats. So when you tag the correct genre, you help our editors to find your music in the right spaces. Please always also you have an opportunity to write a bit about your song, so that our editors can get a better insight of what is in the song. We usually, artists write that they have a budget of $3,000 that they're going to use to promote the song, blah, 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 blah. And honestly, for us, that doesn't make sense. What we want to learn about your song is what inspired you to do this song. Basically, what is the song about? Then probably you could also help us a little further by telling us which playlists you'd love to see your song in. Because not only does that show that you actually you understand our ecosystem, but it also helps our editors. Sometimes when they think, where should I place this song? You've already helped them in your description by describing which playlist you'd love your song to be in. 275,000 artists were added to Spotify editorial playlists at least once in 2022. And then in Spotify, in Spotify and in Spotify for Artists, you can share your music to other social media platforms. We also have promo cards in there. Some of them are celebrating milestones. For example, how many streams you've reached at. Some are for new releases, and others are for anniversaries. Then you can track your progress and see how you can see where your listeners are coming from. You can see their age group. You can see their gender. You can see how your releases are engaging with the audience, and then you can also see which playlists your songs have been added to on Spotify. Then in the music tab, so when you open on the web, you'll see something like this. And on the left side, there are all these buttons. One of them is home. The other one is music, where you can see all the music that has been released. And here you can see the number of streams your music has made. You can see how many listeners are listening to your music. You can see how many people have served your music and all that information. There is a lot of information there, but because of time, I'm just trying to rush through. Then the audience tab is also an amazing one because it helps you know where your listeners are coming from, which age group they are, and all that. Then let's talk about playlisting. So Spotify, we have two types of playlists. We have editorial playlists, which are human driven, like people listen to the music and then they place it in all these different playlists where it fits. But it all goes back to how well you pitched your music. Then we have another type of playlist which we call the algotorial playlists or personalized playlists. These playlists pick music according to the tastes and preferences of the listener. They're in two parts. One is editorially curated algo playlists, where maybe a playlist shows only 50 songs, but it picks from a pool of about 200 songs. That is one version that is human supported. Then the other one is pure algo, which basically picks up songs from the entire platform according to the listener's tastes and preferences. Then we have something that has helped African music grow beyond the borders. I think we're all aware of the terms Ira Star and recently Tyler Stories that have gone global. And part of the reason why they've gone global is the GCGs, or the global curation groups. These are curation groups by editors, where Africa, for example, has a chance to pitch music to the top R&B playlists in the world. So these are also opportunities that help artists get discovered. And our editors work in sync to make sure that the best music actually gets to the ears of the people. I already talked about these personalized playlists. They basically, so for example, your Discovery Weekly will not be the same as the one for your wife or your friend. So you're looking at the same playlist, but they have different songs because we all have different tastes and preferences. So there is something we call the playlist pyramid. And I think for Africa, what is really relevant for us is at the top of our playlist pyramid, we have playlists like African Hits, which take up 50 greatest songs. And most of these playlists at the top, they rely on a few data points. For example, what is the artist here? How many listeners does an artist have? To how well a song has grown, because some songs will just pick and pick and pick, and then probably in a month, that is when it's added to African Hits. Then at the bottom, you'll have all these moods and genre playlists that then feed into the bigger playlists. In a global sense, at the top, you'd see today's top hits, then everything else is, it grows out like a pyramid. Then something that is also very important to us is many artists are buying streams, and Spotify is investing heavily to make sure that we fight fraudulent streams, because it's not only is it unfair to other artists that have actually got real streams, but you're biting into their revenue because you're faking your streams. And so when you are got, first of all, you get a warning. Then 2, you might also get fined. And then 3, if you continue to do fraudulent streams, you might be banned from the system. So like I said, we're investing heavily in this to ensure that it's safe for both the fans and the artists that are actually getting the real streams. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you. I'll wait for the questions.
Thank you so much, James. You really did, share a lot. Thanks a lot. We appreciate that. And I really like the fact that you also mentioned fraudulent streams because it's actually a thing. It's a thing for us too at Symphonic because we would rather not have that on our platform. And the thing is, our relationship with DSPs is very much like a symbiotic relationship. And when you send us to distribute your music to these DSPs, we also have to go back there and collect revenue for you and bring back to you. So what happens sometimes is when you are actually having improper activity on the streaming sites, Spotify would know, notify us, not only notify us, tell us about that fine that he talked about. And then we're going to look at it and say, okay, if you are causing us trouble on Spotify, how do we know you're not causing us trouble on other streaming sites? So what happens is we take it down from all of the 200 streaming sites we talked about earlier. And then that warning that Spotify sent to us, we send it back to you to say, hey, watch it, and we've, had some issues like that. So we would say, please don't go for the fake streaming. Well, I do have a question too, but I'll just hold on until we get to the questions and answers point because we have Zaddy Eko in the building. Now, Zaddy Eko is the CEO of Zaddy Eko Entertainment. He has worked with stars like Majid, Bloody Civilian, Joe Boy, Delby, and a host of others. Now, think of him as that guy that gets you ready to get signed. He's a digital marketing and strategy consultant. Hi, Zaddy Eko. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Hi, everybody. Please confirm you can hear me, Fair.
I can hear and see you. Can you hear and see me?
I can hear and see you. Hi. Hi, everybody. Okay, yeah, I wanted to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Zaddy Eko. I'm a strategy designer, but right now I'm a music distributor with my partners here at Symphonic, and I run strategy, marketing, rollouts, brand partnerships, and brand design for multiple artists like Majid, Lodi Civilian, as she said. We worked with Joe Boy. We've done work with Def Jam. We've done work with Universal Music. We have links and affiliations with Sony, Empire, and so on. Oh yeah, hi, that's me.
Okay, so this particular session with Zaddy Eko is going to be more like a conversation. So my, first point would be, what are the things that artists need to do for anyone at all to take them seriously? In this conversation, we're building up to something. Everyone wants to get signed. So what do you need to do to actually get noticed? It's a big pool.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, first off, I think I need to first note that the Nigerian music industry is the way it is, not because anybody is wicked, but because we are all very talented. So it's very difficult to stand out when everybody is ridiculously talented, right? So now going into what it is that we need or the things that make us, attractive to record labels or to deals. It's like this. If we look at record labels, if we look at distributors now, for example, like their banks, right? For those of us that know what credit is, yeah, with loans and whatnot, when a bank wants to come and invest in your business or in your livelihood, whether it's a personal loan, or it's a business loan, a line of credit, commercial papers, whatever, right? They have these things they check called the 3 C's of credit, right? And they're checking those things just to confirm that they will be able to make their money back. Your character, your capital, and your capacity, right? In the same way, we all need to look at every single artist like a manufacturing company and look at the record labels like their banks, their investors, all right? Getting signed is not the end goal. Getting signed is where you're just starting another level of the work. All right. When people internalize this, then they understand that for you to get signed, you must have something already going for yourself. All right. So when I say going for yourself, everybody will go, oh, it's so expensive to do everything, to promote, to be on radio, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we hear that. But the reason we think that way is because in Nigeria, for some reason, we tend to focus on trends and looking successful than actually being successful. So our goals are mixed up. You see, when James, thanks James, when James was talking about fake streams and the damage it does, the only reason anybody would want to go and get fake streams is because you want to look like you're successful. The amount of money you're going to pay for those fake numbers, right? What exactly is your end goal? People are in the game to get those streams. So if you think you can just come from the back and pay to get streams, then what are you now playing at? Right. So it's because we have sort of a blow culture around, young entertainers, thanks to Instagram and lifestyle. Everybody seems to be more interested in looking like they're more successful than they actually are. Right. But when you get down to it and think of yourself, the artist, as a manufacturing company, as maybe like Chivita, and every song you're dropping is a different product line, is a different product you're putting out. Then you think about ways that you can get people to know you, even when the investor is not here. As a bank now, for example, the bank would mostly want to put money into stuff that they can see is already succeeding, or stuff that they can see is already moving in the right direction. So you have to convince every other person that wants to put money in that you are worth it. All right. And there are a couple of things that usually help to let us know, okay, if I'm looking at an artist now, I'm saying, okay, if I want to call my guys at Symphonic that, look, let's partner up and work on this artist, or let's, see how we can help this person. Because at Zaddy Eco Entertainment, we're very focused on independent artists. We're very focused on seeing how we can get people, straight to the limelight, straight to not just fame, but straight to actually making and earning a living from your music. So first things we look at is, what is this artist's activity? Like, what work are you doing? Everybody knows that being an artist is not just about singing. Everybody in the industry knows this, right? What other activity are you doing? Even online, how active are you online? Because for people to get familiar with you, they must see you consistently. All right. Now, even when we're not talking about, okay, your activity, whether you're performing here, you're going for this event, you're being out, you're going out, that is nice. We're seeing you a lot. But then you have to get us interested in you. Why should I decide to deep dive and find out more about you? It's the content I'm consuming whenever I see you. If every time I see you online, I see very visually pleasing videos or pictures, right, that contain you, then I know, oh, this person is probably really artistic. Or every time I see a video, it's you recreating other people's music and giving it a new taste. If every time I see you, I'm seeing that you're adding an Igbo energy to all of Adele's songs, or every time I see you, you're singing at the top of your lungs on the car while, whatever is going on, then that is the content I'm seeing from you. So while you're being active, what content am I seeing from you? Most times, most artists end up just posting only their music, which is fine because you're trying to let everybody know, you have good music. Yeah. But then apart from that, I also want to see how you can use other content to attract people to your page. It goes beyond just putting the music there and saying, yes, I can sing and this is this. What kind of content are you making musically to attract people to your page? Then also, of course, this goes in, I mean, of course, they already said it. We're not here to talk about the type of music you're making, but for a fact, as I said at the beginning, in Nigeria, we're really blessed with very talented people. So you cannot afford to not match up to what the next guy is doing. I don't mean genre-wise, but you just have to stand out musically. Then also speaking to activity and your content, right, which is now the fourth thing, is your media presence. All right. And this is across board media presence. I'm not saying media presence as an artist where you're singing every time we're seeing in media. If you're an independent artist, you're trying to make your way, you're networking across board, meeting everybody. Today you're in an influencer's content. It doesn't mean you're doing a skit. Yeah. Tomorrow you're at this show. You're on people's stories. Somebody sees you and snaps a picture with you. Or you make friends with maybe another fellow artist, and at this fellow show, you're also performing and you create content there. Your media presence is very important because, as I said, in line with activity, we want to see that you know how to put yourself out there. Every label, yes, is bringing money to pay for PR, to pay for marketing. But the better your media presence, the cheaper the marketing is. And I don't know anybody that on their own would see something with the same quality, but would rather pay for the more expensive one. All right. If the quality is good and the brand is good, of course you want to save yourself a few bucks. Maybe you can even get 2 or 3 more. All right. That's the way investors think. So on your own, what are you doing with your media presence? If we see that, oh, this guy really knows what he's doing, this guy really is taking the bull by the horn, he's putting himself out there, he's going for every show, he's getting himself interested in fashion, he's getting himself interested in, restaurants, whether he's doing a vlog or food blog or he's DJing on the side. Let's see what it is that is you in the media. It's from there that we can now tell, oh, okay, if we have this guy, there is this angle to this. We could possibly get an endorsement on this end. We can possibly get a hair endorsement. We can probably have a TV cooking show, or maybe we can even put him in Nollywood. You get? Because at this point, singing is not enough. You have to be across board. Also, your creativity. Generally, how creative are you? How fun are you? Zaddy can only do so well with creating a media plan and a schedule for you to be posted. But then it's up to you to put the creativity into the media plan. I mean, I always say this, the devil is in the detail, right? The way Beyonce will perform Batamia Kokoka is different from the way Portable will perform it, right? They will both probably perform it really good, but they'll perform it differently and they would inject their own type of creativity into the performance. So we want to see your creativity. We want to see the little things about you that make you you that is just astonishing. Keep us interested. Be interesting. That's really, that really sums up those 5 things from your activity, your content, your musical dexterity, your media presence, and your creativity. Once we have 5 of these things on deck, that is when you know, okay, either this guy is moving in the right direction and he knows it, or he doesn't know it, but regardless, we're going in the direction. So a label will now want to come in and say, okay, let me put more structure to this, or let me fund your ideas since you already have a team, if you have a team, right? But the bottom line is I need everyone to remember that labels are not the end goal, all right? Getting signed, getting a sponsor, getting an advance, these are investors into your craft. You cannot afford to relax just because you now have an investor. That's when you have to work more so you can pay back the money and move to the next stage of your career.
Okay.
Fair. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more. So, yes, you answered this question actually, because I was going to ask you how an artist could build an audience. And with all of the things you said, I mean, you would have been able to, grow a sustainable audience of people that are interested in you and keep coming back to see all of the content you talked about. Yes. Okay. I think it's also important to note at this juncture that investors, I like the way you smiled at that. Now, investors are actually sort of investing in your audience. So there are some people that are not exactly into music, but they just have the cash. But they probably have a product that they want to sell. So the only reason that they're going to put their money on you in form of maybe a show that you're putting up or something is because they realize that you have an audience that can in turn buy their product. Yeah. So it's important to know that with all of the things he has said, if you noted them, you can use that to successfully build your audience. Now, is it possible to know an artist that will blow? We had this conversation before. So how do you know if an artist would blow?
I mean, I'm not a prophet, but certain pointers that it's not like you can tell if someone is going to blow, but it's like when you meet a young banker, right? You can you can tell a young banker that is going to get to the top. Five things I mentioned, and then factors like okay, the work ethic, like okay, this person is always in the studio. You can tell an artist has good work ethic, right? This is where people always say things like, never trust a humble artist because when they are humble, that means they never see it in the find. For those of you that are not Nigerian, that means that's just people trying to be very hardworking, people trying to put themselves forward, people trying to make sure, there is no lapses. So at the start, if you want, they are putting themselves, out there, they're making plenty content, they listen to advice.
Okay. I like the part where you said they listen to advice. That part is is very important because I really don't know how artist managers generally survive in the music ecosystem. I wish them only the best, but I think it's a tough job because getting artists to actually listen to advice is something. And maybe sometimes it's important for you to hire an artist manager or work with a strategist that you actually trust or believe in. So that way, when they tell you to do something, you would trust them enough to actually do it. And sometimes artists really don't listen. So maybe they need to hire a team of people that they truly trust and can listen to. Because if you're not going to listen to the advice that these people are giving you, then what's the point, really, at the end of the day? So now that we have talked about building an audience, what it takes for an artist to blow, it's important for us to also talk about what to do when you actually finally find the investor. So do you just go all in and say, thank you, I'm all in, or what exactly should you take care of when an investor comes calling?
I mean, as it is with every contract, right? With any contract in any industry, you have to look at ownership, the tenure, and of course the terms, right? What's the investor offering? All right. What's the amount of time is he putting money in? How much is he pledging to put in over what period of time? And what are the ways he's going to recoup the money back? All right. On one hand, again, our advice, artists, don't be greedy. Do you get? If somebody brings an offer, yeah, and you feel the money is not enough, the money is not meant for you to ball or to buy a car, all right, or live in a six-bedroom mansion. All right. Most times that money is just to get you on your feet so that you can focus on the work at hand. Or the money might be for the promotion of the record. All right. Now, at the start of your career, yeah, I agree that we all understand our value, but we tend to make the mistake of pricing ourselves out of the market. So when an investor comes with an offer, you need to not look at what is the best you can get out of this person, but look more on what is the work that can be done with this person. You understand? If you see the person, okay, the person has a type of network that can move your product forward, or the person is pledging to put this amount of money. Okay, if you're putting this money, how are we intending to market it? Do you have a marketing professional? Are you down for us to hire professionals? Are you going to fund the marketing to a certain degree? Do you understand? Those are like the questions that you can have. And of course, not, but with investors, remember, they are just coming to partake in work that needs to get done.
Okay.
I said we need to make sure that we do the work that the investor came for so we can pay them back their money. They are not Santa Claus.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for him, please drop them in the Q&A or in the chat room, and we'll take them soon enough. Okay, so Michael is the current CEO of Premier Records, and he has been in management position within the company for 17 years. Now, Premier Records boasts of the biggest music catalog in Nigeria and has been home to stars like Charlie Boy, Raskimono, Onyeka Onwenu, Sonny Okosun, Eviedna Ogoli, just to mention a few. They have a huge catalog. Like, think of all of the artists you grew up listening to. They, at some point or the other, were signed to Premier Records. And of course, is here to let us know what the record label system has always been like, what it is like now, and really what would, a record company or a record label be looking for in an artist that is just starting out. Hi, thank you for joining us on this masterclass.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much, Ife. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. It's quite a pleasure being here. I've enjoyed the topic. I've listened aptly to all the speakers, and they have done wonderfully well, and they've done justice to the topics so far. Interestingly, the last speaker is saying something similar to what I will say, but more or less his own angle, maybe from the digital marketing angle, and of course the artist management angle. But let's just go straight to the point. What really do artists? What really does a label want from an artist? What are they looking for? Zaddy actually mentioned the 3 C's. Yes, I agree, but mine would be a bit different. And they are in this following order: character, credits, and consistency. Character, credits, consistency. These are the 3 major C's for a label when looking for an artist. Now, I'm going to break it down. I would use a very good example. Let us look at a Portable, and then look at, for example, a Terry Akpala, or what's his name? Yemi Vibes, I think.
Q Dot.
No, okay, let's look at a Q Dot. Not really a Q Dot. The guy that does Akpala music, that sings, that samples Salawa Benis music. I think something Vibes.
Shea Vibes.
Shea Vibes. Now, I have taken these people because they are basically from the same set of crowd, from the same set of music genre somehow. But what makes these people different? Take, for example, what makes a Portable different? Why would a record label want to sign a Portable? What makes Shea Vibes different? Why would a record label want to sign a Shea Vibes? What makes a Terry Akpala different? We still go back to these 3 things: character, credit, consistency. If we know very well, look at character-wise, a Portable. I mean, the guy is always in the news for the wrong reasons. Is his character that's which one can say it's enviable, or that which one can say, oh, yes, this is what a label would like his or her artist to look like? Definitely no. You look at the Shea Vibes, character-wise, is he up there? Yes, to a large extent. You look at the Terry Akpala, is he up there? Yes, to a large extent. When we look at the credit aspect of it, when we say credit now, we are talking of the value in terms of revenue. Because talent is good, but talent is not enough. I say it again, talent is good, but talent is not enough. An artist must follow his or her talent with several other things, which includes your credit value. How are you able to exploit your talent to, to bring in that revenue? What are those things? What are those creative innuendos that you bring in, that would lead to revenue generation? Now, consistency. Are you able to be consistent in the game and be patient enough to be able to reap the fruit of your labor? I mean, one of the speakers earlier said, you are looking at faking Spotify. Why would you want to fake Spotify numbers? Just because you want to belong, you don't want to be patient. You want to hit the mark, immediately you launch. No, you have to be consistent. You have to consistently build your crowd because music is also building a community for the kind of thing you do. If you play rock music, for example, you should be able to build that community that would love that your rock music. If you play an Apala music, there is always a community that loves Apala. You should be able to build that community to love what you're playing. So it's not something you just jump in and then you think every record label wants to sign you because you have talent. No, you need more than talent. And when you look around now, what is happening is that most record labels have started building, or they have a department called talent development. Now, what do? They take an artist, you have a talent, yes. Now, we need to build you to have character. We need to build you to be creative with the talent you have. We need to build you to be consistent in what you do. So they pump in so much money to build not just the talent, but the character. So, for example, Rema, it took years for Rema to come out. What happened? Maybe it took time to build him. They spent millions in building him as a person, as an artist, not just as a talent that knows how to sing. The way he walks, the way he talks, the way he eats, where he goes, the things he does, the way he handles the media, those things are very, very critical in talent development. So that when you make it, there is little or no scandal around you because already you have been built, in such a way that you can withstand whatever is coming. And then you are also consistent in what you do. You are consistent with your crowd. You are consistent with your talent. You are consistent with your creativity. You just don't bring out music. You bring out music that people would love to hear. You bring out music that people would love, to relate with. So at the end of the day, you have a complete artist, that is talented, but can also hold the crowd. Now, when you look at all that at the end of the day, you must also understand the business of it. Because yes, you are talented, you know how to sing, but understanding the business aspect of it helps a lot. That's why we say any artist, whether you are in a label or not, as long as you're an artist and you want to get a deal, the first thing you do is get a lawyer. When you get a lawyer, your problem is half solved. Because from there on, whatever deals you're going to be getting, whatever you are going to be involved in, you have somebody to guide you legally, somebody to advise you that no, don't do it this way, do it this way. Oh, they give you a contract. What does this contract say? Does it say that you're a slave in perpetuity? Does it say that you don't have a right to say whatever you need to say in your work? These are critical areas that an artist must look out for. Yes, we are label executives, but we also want the best. Like Zaddy Echo said, this thing is an investment. If I am investing in an artist, I want to get my return on investment. I am not Father Christmas. I want to be able to be sure that if I put 100 million naira in an artist, in a matter of 1 year, 2 years, I should be able to reap 150 million, 200 million. I'm not just going to go blindly and put in money where I am not sure I will reap from. and then I spend so much money, and the artist now misbehaves and loses his crowd or her crowd, and then they don't like him anymore. My money has gone down the drain. So we must learn that yes, at every point in time, artists are labels are looking for artists to sign. But the question you would ask yourself is, do you have the character? Are you credit worthy? Are you able to look at yourself and value yourself to say, oh, if this record label signs me on and I work with them, I would be able to generate revenue that would make them very rich. Are you able to be consistent that when you release one work that becomes a hit, you don't go and relax and say, after all, I'm a superstar. I have a hit. Any other thing, it will just flow. Now you bring down your creativity, you bring down your innovativeness, you just relax and say nothing is happening. After all, I'm a star. And that is the problem we have in the industry today. We have so many one-hit stars that they just, have one hit and they become superstars and they are everywhere enjoying themselves and don't go back to work to say, okay, what made this song be a hit? Can I go back and do something better? I don't have to wait. I'll give you an example. Take, for example, a Timaya. Timaya is one artist I know that does not rest. Timaya is always in the studio. He's looking for the next big hit. He's not resting. He won't say because, oh, I made a hit last 3 months. I'm going to relax for another 6 months, for another 1 year before I bring that. No. He's so consistent that at every point in time, he's in the studio producing something. And before you know it, it's another hit. Kiss Daniel, the same thing. They are always in the studio. They are always thinking. They are always working. So tell me why a label would not want to sign such an artist.
Yeah, just to chip in something, you were talking about investing like 100 million and then wanting to get 150 and 200. Does it happen sometimes that you thought that this artist was going to be it, but the label makes a colossal loss?
Look, it happens every time. So the thing is this: I always say, first and foremost, music is spiritual, and secondly, the music industry, you have talent and luck. There's no way you can remove luck from it. So I give you a very good example. Okay, let me just say, a label puts in 100 million to promote an artist, and that artist does not make one couple. And then there's another artist that they have just put 10 million, and that artist makes a hit. Just 10 million, and the artist is everywhere. And they're like, we don't believe this one. How much we put here? That's just 10 million. If this will we put 100 million, we don't even get anything. But that is how the music industry is. You can spend 100 million and you don't get anything. Or you spend another 10 million for something you didn't even expect. And boom, you make your 100 million back. But you have to be consistent. You don't just spend 100 million and think, oh, that is the end. There's no money coming in. I've just wasted money. No. The next one that you might do that might not cost up to 100 million might just be the hit. I'll give you a good example again. Go, 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 Go was released in 1983. I'm very sure we could not have spent up to 100,000 naira to do everything about that work and release it and all that. But fast forward 1983 to 2024, that same song is hitting millions as we speak. So look at the profit. If the company had said, oh, because we made a loss in 1983, we are no longer interested in even doing anything with this, would we be making the money we are making today? So you have to be consistent. You have to believe in the industry first and foremost, because it is like a gambling set. Sometimes you gamble and lose. Sometimes you gamble and win. So nobody is like you ask, how do you know an artist will blow? The truth is, nobody knows an artist that will blow. You can only say this one is very talented. We hope it will blow. But you cannot single-handedly point out that, okay, this one will blow. It is the audience that will determine. And just pray that you have something, that the audience connects with. Once you have that, then you can have your breakthrough.
I'm curious about how it was in the days of maybe when like Odiong was starting out, maybe moved from broadcasting. I was then doing music and all of that. What was it like signing artists at that time? Was it the usual, will we get you a house, we buy you a car? What was getting signed like at that time?
Getting an artist signed at that time, first, it was more of a pure pleasure for the artist. It was like they enjoyed what they did. It wasn't about the money. It was not about the money. They just enjoyed playing music. So, for example, you could have an artist that would set up his band, buy instruments, and then tour. Every weekend, the artist is playing. Maybe he's in Enugu today. The next weekend, he's in Boko. The next weekend, he's in Asaba. The next weekend, he's in Lagos. Just touring. And people are going to watch. And it will shock you that students will even go and use their school fees to go in and watch the artist perform. So artists were actually making money from live performances. The labels, they just came into labels to further boost their career, like, okay, become more popular. So that you are not just a local champion. People know you nationally. Your records are being sold because you know you cannot sell your work all by yourself. So your records are being sold. You have a record label that you say, oh, yes, this is my record label. They are selling my work. And you were getting royalties from there. Some would even say, okay, you know what? From this record you are going to be selling, give me an advance money. I want to buy bus. They buy buses from there so that they can use the tour. Most of them did not build houses from the royalties. No. They built houses for the performances that they did. Some were so rich because they were playing international gigs. Others, because they had this like 3-4 times in a week where they were making money from. So they built houses, they lived comfortably, just based on the fact that it was largely live performances and they were stars. So fast forward now, you see a lot of, first, we don't even have live performances anymore. So we are reliant on digital platforms to make money from.
There's a lot of conversation about the fact that, we don't have, venues, we don't have structures. So is it that we had venues and structures then and we just don't have them anymore, or we never had them? Because from what you're saying, it looks like live performances were the thing at that time. So what happened?
Okay, so 2 things happened. The live performances were more of tours. So for example, a Celeste Nuku would leave Enugu to come and perform in Lagos in Papingo nightclub. That was Olaya's club and hotel. And because everybody knew that Celeste Nuku was coming to Papingo nightclub, they would get ready. The workers will get their salary, want to watch. Students will use their school fees to pay just to watch the Celeste Nuku perform. And Olaya is in Sokoto, maybe at Balamila's club. Olaya is coming. Everybody is getting ready. The ones that will get their school fees will get their school fees. The ones that will get their salary, the ones that will save, everybody saves. Just to go and watch Olaya. So you see that that was an actual tour from place to place. And the clubs are not the kind of clubs that you have now. Those clubs, they are open floors where you play live band. Open floors, you play live band. So it was a different system. And then we had structures like National Theatre, that could accommodate such performances. So it was easier They had internal interstate infrastructures which were clubs and all that that people look forward to, and some clubs could contain up to 1,000 people. Then you had structures like the National Theatre up till the 1980s. So, for example, look at Lekki Splash. That was a major event, like the African what's the name of this popular festival? Coachella. That was the African version of Coachella that we had. Everybody from everywhere, Nigeria, outside Nigeria, came to watch Lekki Substance. And you had the who is who. A-list artists, Fela, Tony Okosu, name them. So you could see that the structure was there to help develop such talent and get artists to perform. But today, it's a different thing altogether.
So, well, I would say you should advise an artist that might be listening right now that really might never get signed. Because if we are being realistic, there are just as many record labels. The ratio of the number of record labels that we have to the number of artists that we have and that want to get signed is small. So that means that there will be some artists that would never get signed to a record label. So what do you have to say to such artists?
Well, see, I would say this, and first and foremost, generally to all artists, don't be an artist that is jobless. That's my first advice. Do not be an artist that is jobless. Make music a hobby, but find something to do. Find a 9 to 5 or whatever, work to do. That way you are able to sustain yourself, because music is very expensive. Very expensive, whether you're under a label or you're running your own thing yourself. Music is quite expensive. So first, have a job. With that job, whatever you are able to make, you are able to take care of yourself. If you have extended family, you're able to take care of it. Whilst you also put some money in music, whether you go to the studio to record. And thank God for technology. You have all the streaming platforms. You have a Symphonic. So if you do not have a record label yet, then go register as an independent artist. Put your songs on platforms like Symphonic. Let people listen. Create content. You have an Instagram. You have TikTok. You have Snapchat. Create content. That way you are able to reach the world without a label. And you'll be shocked that one day a label will definitely reach out to you. Because once you start getting traction, once your music starts getting popular, once you get the numbers on social media, I bet you the labels will come knocking. So first and foremost, do the job yourself. When you do the job yourself, labels will come.
All right, thank you so much. Michael Odiong is the current CEO of Premier Records, and he's giving us a number of insights. Let's look at the questions that we have so far. This one is from Akinwande or Dedele, saying, as a starter who has no profile on any music platform, does the starter plan include creating the profile on the over 200 streaming platforms? Yes, it does, because as soon as you're about to register, it will ask whether you want to claim a profile on Spotify, for instance. Then you're saying if you've paid your producer for a production session, is it mandatory to get a split from the royalty? That's a conversation you're going to have with the producer. It depends on what the producer wants. Some producers allow you to pay them outrightly. Some sort of know their rights, and they would probably ask for a percentage of your royalties. So it depends on the producer that you're working with and how much of their rights that they know. Also, it's important that you get a lawyer. So I would advise that you get that done. And then Taiwo Fadare is saying, please give examples of playlist and Afrobeat artists can pitch for both editorial and algorithm playlists. Okay, that will be for James. James, are you still there?
Yes, here.
Taiwo Fadara is saying, please give examples, playlists and Afrobeat artists can pitch for, both editorial and algorithm playlists.
So this is what I think. I feel like there are a couple of playlists, but it depends on the mood of the playlists. It depends on the genre of the playlist. So for Afrobeats, like I said at the peak, there is African hits. But then you find in their playlist like Street Energy. I mean, I don't work on the Afrobeats account, but if you're an Afrobeats artist, I want to believe that you use Spotify and you know the playlist that you want to be in. I believe we have probably over 50 playlists that take care of different kinds of Afrobeats, different moods, different times of the day, different seasons. So I can't say that there is this specific one that you should pitch for. But what I want to say is go ahead, explore the app, understand the playlists that are there, and just to steal for you exams, not just Spotify, even for other DSPs, explore them, understand the playlist that they have, and as you release this song, identify the particular playlist that you feel your song fits in. But it's not always bad. You can even ask for African hits and let the editor decide whether they want to give you African hit or not.
Okay, you still have one more question for you. How do you classify a song that can fit into more than one genre of music? Oh, wow.
Yeah, so as you pitch your music on Spotify for artists, you can choose up to 3 genres. So I understand that in Africa there is a lot of cross crossing genres. One song sounds like Afrobeats, then it sounds like R&B, then it's a Christian and gospel song. So you have an option to choose up to 3 genres. So this is what I think you should do. First, in your mind, always choose the main genre where you want your song, where you believe your song sits. So, for example, in Christian and gospel, we have something called Afro gospel. The Afrobeat version of the Afrobeat version of gospel. And so, if a song is Afro gospel, what would happen in my mind if I'm pitching it? I'll pitch it as first, the meta genre is Christian. Then the subgenre is probably Afrobeat in that case. So I would put Christian first because it's where it sits. Then Afrobeat because it's an Afro gospel song. Then I'm a piano probably. Like you have all these options to choose these 3 genres, and what that does.
James, in this situation, this example you just gave, wouldn't it be safer for the artist to just pick Christian and gospel all through? Because, I mean, people in the Afrobeat genre do not know you. They are not your community, really. But, I mean, other gospel artists maybe the gospel community is already familiar with you. So you don't want to lose audience.
Yes. So this is how it works. You find that we have editors that work on different genres. So if you chose 3 genres, let me say you chose Christian and gospel, then you chose Afrobeats. Then you chose, let me say what? Let me say Rumba. Then an editor that works on Afrobeats will be able to see your pitch. 2, an editor that works on Christian and gospel will also be able to see your pitch. Then an editor that works on Rumba will also be able to see your pitch. This is because you've selected all the 3 genres, and as the editors work through their files, they filter by the genre that they take care of, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Victor Wanze is asking, Zaddy said artists should not be greedy. My question is, at what point should an artist who feels a song is everywhere start to ask for more? So Zaddy, what do you think of this?
Thanks for the question, Victor Wanze. Okay, so what I think of that. First off, the money that we're saying, I want to be able everyone can hear me. The money that the
Yeah.
artist is asking for, right? What is it for? All right,
Mm.
because what I understand this person is saying is now asking about how do you value the artist brand more or less,
Mm.
right? He's mentioning when you're hearing the artist song everywhere. That is a nice, indication of success, but that's also an indication of a trend. And I mean, for those of us that have been long enough and seen enough in this industry, we can tell that a trend doesn't necessarily mean a successful music career. It doesn't necessarily mean the label that is about to put money in you will get the money back just because you trended. You get. So an investment, as I say, investment is not, they're not giving you money to just eat and sit down. If you're looking for an advance, if you're looking for an investment, you are looking for that advance for a project, for work that you want to do. So it's less about the value you put on yourself. It's less about whether you're hearing your songs everywhere or what's not. The project you want to do, that thing you want to do with the money, yeah, how much is it? What is it that you want to do? Do you understand? Now, when you have that amount, you also need to now look at, okay, you also need to now look at, okay, on this side too, I feel this is my value, but have I made this kind of money since I've been doing this music? How much have I made in the last 1 year, for example? So like how much have I made in the last 1 year? What are my plans? What have I done? What have I achieved? Just so that people, because I keep needing to reiterate this, people need to stop looking at labels or investors or sponsors as people that are sponsoring your life. They're not sponsoring your life, they're sponsoring your product. All
They're
right,
not
remember,
adopting.
artists, yeah, they're not adopting you. All right, artists, you're like a manufacturing company. All right, nobody's going
Yeah,
to give you
yeah.
money to buy Baki or to buy Kana or to, nobody cares for that, my guy. All right, if you're so confident in your music, in your song being everywhere, then why do you need an advance? Why do you need an investor? Just sit and wait it out, let the money come in, then invest in yourself now. Do you understand? That's the way it
Okay,
is. So it's
sorry.
less about your
Yeah,
own
sorry.
value
I
and
just
more on what you want to do. Do you get?
okay. Sorry,
And
I just
what's
want
the
to ask
value of
you.
that thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. It's very interesting. I'll give you a typical example. This Gogo Bongo. After a month, I got a lot of reports and all that, and everybody was like, "Oh, the label has made millions. The thing is everywhere. The streaming is everywhere. It's gone viral. It's millions, millions. You guys have hit and all that." And I looked at that. And the question is, have people actually gone to sit down to look at the analytics on these streaming platforms? Have you really gone to like sit down and say, look, they say this, how many streams has this even made? Because you need to understand that there's a difference between a viral video and a streaming number. Viral video does not necessarily make the streaming numbers. Videos are different. You can be viral on Instagram. It doesn't mean you're making any money on the place that you're supposed to make money, which is the streaming platform. It's a different ball game altogether. So let us not assume that, oh, because the music is popular, then there's money. No, it is wrong. It doesn't work that way. You can be popular, and at the end of the day, you have only made 10,000 streams. So
Exactly. Exactly.
the more important thing is when it's viral, what do you do to convert that to the streaming numbers?
The streams.
That is what you should be looking at.
Okay.
Thank you,
Rani,
Michael.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zaddy, and thank you, Michael. So, Rani
Oh,
Tabariang is asking, how do labels assess an artist's potential for growth and longevity in the industry? He also has a follow-up question that says, what aspects of an artist's branding or image are most crucial to labels? So first question is for Michael. Second question is for Zaddy. Should I take it again?
Okay, that's quite simple. So, for example, if an artist comes to me and says, "Oh, sir, I have songs. I've written over 100 songs, but I need to go to the studio," and I look at you, uh, music has to do somehow with psychology. You know who really is hungry and who is not hungry, who just somebody that just wants to make noise and blow and then squander your money. But you also know somebody that is hungry and is ready for you to sit down and write 100 songs. It shows that yes, you are willing to work. You are willing to do a lot of things. For you to even tell me, oh, you have recorded like 10 songs with your own money, it shows me that yes, you are willing to spend on yourself to even get something done. You know, that tells me a lot. But if you don't do that and you are coming to tell me, oh, you're an artist, you just want to sing, what have you done? You haven't done anything. Then you are not serious. The simple thing is straightforward. There's no need for a long thing.
Okay. All right. Zaddy.
Yeah, on what parts of the person's brand is most inviting to a label. Yeah, I mean, generally, I always say it depends, yeah, from label to label based on what they're looking for. But a simple rule of thumb usually is, what is most important to the label is that they can make their money back. All right, that they can make their money back. So it's up to you. Different people have different parts of their brands that guarantee that the money can be made back. Some people, it's, the actual digital streams. For some people, it's the fact that they have an electric energy on stage, so they get lots of bookings. For some people, it's easy for them to get endorsements. It's up to you to find out what your, superpower is, so to say. But I need people to move away from thinking that success in music is just on the songs you've dropped, because you create a more comprehensive excuse me, career for yourself when it's not just on the songs. Look at Beyonce. Let's not be as if I'm screaming Beyonce and we're looking at her at the level she is now. But think since when Beyonce started, Beyonce would enter comedy content. Beyonce would enter reality TV content. She would enter, like, she was in everything and anything she could be. Even Ira Star is currently doing it. Do you understand? They have the different ways, but what's most important is every label wants to be sure they can take them back. That is all.
Okay. Victor Wanzi is asking another question, saying which is more profitable between then live performances and now digital age, e.g. King Sonia Ade, Oliver the Cook, Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey, etc. All these artists are always playing week in, week out at one party or the other. When you see how they spray them, you wonder if record labels will give them such money. Is it better to have a band or to just depend on digitization? Okay, I think that question is for Michael and myself. So, Michael, you go first.
Okay, so the fact is, if there was no record label to even release them, they would just be local champions playing in where they are known. But when you have a record label release them, so they are known everywhere, it is easy for them to be called in Sokoto, come and play here. It is easy for them to be called in Abuja, come and play here. And don't forget that the money that they spray is just spraying. So if they do not have shows for the next 2 months, what happens? And it gets to the point that they are no longer able to play the live band. What happens? So there's no way the label is always involved one way or the other. Making money, playing live shows and getting paid is just part of the money-making venture for them as artists, not wholly the thing.
Yeah, and to just support what he said, you were saying it's not an either-or situation. So you can have your live performances and still make money from streaming because, there are legends that have long gone and their family are still able to benefit from money from their streaming revenue. I mean, they didn't even know they would ever be streaming, as at the time they were actively performing. So it's a good thing. You could make money from both sides. And you can't always, like Michael said, you can't always be active. You can't always be able to go for those tours like you used to when you were much younger. You can't always be able to. I mean, not everyone is King Sunny Ade, but there's always an expiry date for stuff like that. And at that time, you should be able to sit back and enjoy revenue from streaming. Then there's Wallace Charles, who is asking, I have a question for Spotify and Symphonic. What plans do you guys have for DJs? How can we promote our playlists on Spotify and other streaming platforms? Thank you. So James, you go first.
The good news is you can, like all users, you can create playlists on Spotify. The advantage that comes with the DJ playlist is because there is a bit of thought to it compared to just random user playlists. And these are entirely for promo purposes. We treat DJ playlists as any other user-created playlists. So there is no structure in place to promote them as like official playlists. That's what I can say. But you just have to keep sharing them. Just keep putting mind on how you create your playlists. And then that is how you grow following. And then before you know it, even artists are coming to you, requesting you, or even paying you to add their songs to your playlist.
Okay. Also asking about the plan that Symphonic has. So if you're trying to upload mixes, is a bit technical because my first thing would be don't do it. But if you really must upload mixes, you then have to be sure that the songs on your mixes will not give you a copyright flag from maybe any of the streaming sites. Some streaming sites don't even accept mixes like that. So you need to probably do your research and say, okay, which particular streaming site accepts mixes? Because if you get too many copyright flags from DSPs and we have to notify you, at some point we might have to say, you know what, we can't work with you. So what would be good is maybe you create, like he said, you create a playlist within Spotify and then promote it, to your fans and all of that, so they can know that you have this playlist. At least they would trust your ability to curate music because you're a DJ. Then with regards to releasing music via Symphonic, you could release original music. I mean, feature artists or something like that. That would be more exciting. But of course, it's still possible for you to distribute mixes. But, there's always that likely snag that there might be a copyright strike. So this one is coming from Samuel Adebayo. Does the starter plan have the feature for subscribers to set a future release date? Yes, you can set a future release date. Chiamaka Anagu says, where an artist and his record label has signed an agreement for a 50-50 split. 50-50, wow. 50-50 split of royalties, and the artist has never received a dime. How does the artist claim his royalties, either from the DSPs, publishers, etc., since the relationship has gone sour? This artist is speaking with lawyers, but how can he find out where the records have been published and the monies that have been received? Heavy question. No? Over to you, Michael.
Okay. So first, as long as there's a contract that has been signed, the label is bound to give such information. That is clear. It might take some time, whether the label is being stubborn or whatever. But I mean, when you get to the court, the label is bound to give such information because it is an agreement that has been made. And if the split says 50-50, the contract would also say that at a particular point in time, the label is to give report, whether it's quarterly, whether it's biannually. It is the responsibility of the label to give reports so that at every point in time, the artist knows how much he's making and where that money is coming from. However, if this is not done, then the artist has the right, after, taking all the necessary processes of formal letters and trying to mediate in a gentleman's way. If that does not happen, then the court of law will take its course. It might take time, but it is bound by the label that such information must be given to the artist. And where it is not, then it is an immediate termination. It is an immediate termination, and the artist has the right to recall his works from such a label.
Okay. As an imagine, this is an anonymous person says, as an imagine artist or producer who has little or no money to pay a lawyer, but is willing to pay from income on deals that has the lawyer's involvement, as agreed with the lawyer, what could be the decent percentage of the income sharing? Well, I'll just answer this quickly and say that it depends on the agreement you have with the lawyer. Also, I think also as independent artists or artists that are growing, you should learn to grow with people at your level. So, I mean, this is me assuming that you went to school. And even if you didn't study law, you probably had a friend in the law department that you guys have grown together, you're friends, and you've graduated, the person has started practicing. You should approach people like that. Don't approach people that are a lot higher and too expensive for you to be able to pay. You grow with people. So if you're looking at the people at the top, they have relationships that they have grown with fellow people at the top together. They didn't know each other yesterday or day before yesterday, or just, happen on a meeting. Well, happen on a meeting does happen. But if you get what I mean, it's easier for you if you actually grow with people, grow with producers that are also good at your level, but they are really good. Partner with them, grow with people like that at that level, then you will not have a case of, oh, it's too expensive, or you would have people at your level that you can truly afford. But then if you want to share, I mean, Symphonic has split share. So if you want to share royalties from your music, you agree with the person. It's not something that we can decide for you. You would actually have a conversation and decide on how much you want to be able to split with that person. But don't come back tomorrow and tell us how you don't want to split anymore. Okay, so then this person kicks on, it says, as an artist, how do you leverage your song the best when it starts going viral? Zaddy, what do you think?
Very, very beautiful question. How to best leverage your song when it goes viral? So here is the thing, As I said, it's more profitable if we look at it as the artist is a manufacturing company and the product or the song is just, one product of their manufacturing line. All right. The idea is not just to make sure that one product sells, but to make sure every other product coming out from that manufacturing company sells. So what happens is when your song goes viral, however you want to do it, depending on your team, your assets, your resources, and your personality, the idea is to make sure you drag that attention to your page. You get, let people take that moment to learn a lot more about you. Interesting. Let us know, oh my God, this is the person that dropped that song. Oh, that song. Oh, now this guy. Oh, it's this guy that did this. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Oh, he has this other song. Oh, he's fighting with Portable today. Oh, he slapped police tomorrow. Those types of things. I'm not saying you should go and be fighting, right? Because but the idea is, use that to drag attention to your brand, because that's when you actually get profitable. That's when the label can now stay and say, oh, this guy actually has, as you said, a community that's behind him. Yeah. So let us now pay for an album. Let's pay for 3 or 4 albums. Let's drop money down. Let's use our resources to create the network that would help push this product to the next level. That's what I would best advise. But it's not to try to, I know, let me just say this. Everybody in Nigeria, the real truth, let me not say Nigeria, but Africa. The real truth about it is we have what I would like to call the blow mentality, right? Which is when you will blow. And that comes about because we believe for most of us that grew up in religious households, we believe in supernatural miracles, or that one thing that, sparks of, oh, wow, it's just one thing that happened and you just went, or, what some of us might want to call luck, right? Which is fair. But then because of the amount of poverty in the country, we tend to avoid thinking past 6 months. We want to eat today. We're not looking to eat in 6 months. So what happens is people tend to not pay attention to the things that will pay off in 6 months.
It's like they want a lottery.
Exactly. They want a lottery. So when you fail to pay attention to that thing, then every time you're releasing music, it seems like you're trying just luck. Luck has a part to play, not necessarily in it going, but how far it goes. But it is possible as an artist to have a minimum number of streams you get per release, not just because your music is good, but because of what you've done with your community. So I need artists to understand music is not something that you do today and to pay off today. Not because we're all trying to find a viral song, but because when you build your career in any industry, right, it takes a while, but it's best if you have a good foundation in whatever career you're in. So if you get a viral moment, use them, stand your brand. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Zaddy. Quickly, for DJs that are in the building, because it looks like we have a number. DJs have, there's the Twitch DJ program. With Twitch, they just launched the Twitch DJ program alongside many other benefits. They're looking to provide a long-term home for DJs to legally live stream using the vast majority of popular music online. Now, if you want to know more about the Twitch new DJ program, you can actually just go to the Symphonic blog to read more about it. There's always been the challenge with live streaming music online because of the complex nature of the content. Like, you don't know who has the rights to a song and all of that. So this, it would give you the rights to stream, discovery and promotion, support from Twitch. And, just check our blog for how this works and how this benefits you. Like I said, if you go to our blog, our website, the blog on our website, you are set for life as an artist. You get, and it's a treasure trove of information, really. So thank you so much. This is about the masterclass for today. Thank you a lot for joining us. And I truly, truly appreciate our panelists, from Jessica Caliso to James Propa to Zaddy and Michael Odiong. You guys are the coolest guys ever. Thanks so much. My name is Ife Ajagbe, and thank you so much, Laura. Laura had to wake up very early to actually get us on board. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And of course, big shout out to the Symphonic family, and of course, Spotify for always being there for us. They are literally our preferred partner, if you know what I mean. So thank you very much for joining in. If you missed any part of this, we'll try to make sure that this is on YouTube so that you can watch a replay of this and you can share with your community. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.